fiction.
We thought we were alone. We believed the universe was ours, until one night in 2063, on an Earth colony 16 light years away, they struck. And now we are at war. My name is Lieutenant Colonel T.C. McQueen. I'm an in vitro, a race of artificially gestated humans. I command a Marine Corps squadron. The 58th. They call us the Wild Cards. We fight when called. In space, on land, and at sea. To lose this war means more than defeat. To surrender is to never go home. All of us must rise to the call, above and beyond.
Hello and welcome to another episode of What If It Could Come Back. And today we're going to be talking about one of the greatest science fiction series ever made. The one for me that just, it shits on everything that's made today, basically. This thing would stand out, it's timeless. I'm on about 1995's Space Above and Beyond. So, we get some amazing characters in this series. Shane Vanson, T.C. McQueen, Nathan West, Dan Foose, Wang. What a series. And Cooper Hawks and the Commodore. Tucker Smallwood nailed it as the Commodore of the Saratoga. The premise of the series, it's an alien invasion. We're expanding out into the universe. It's in the mid-21st century. We've worked out how to travel through wormholes to get to other places in the galaxy, and we come across the Chigs. And basically, a probe is sent there by a corporation to some planet of theirs. The Chigs destroy it, warn humanity to stay away. I think it's Vesta or the Telos colony. You've got Uncle Jim from Neighbours. I'm not making this up. In the first opening episode, and they're on, is it Telos or Vesta? And the Chigs come in and exterminate the entire colony that's arrived. And then we jump into the characters. We get the backstory. Earth is an interesting place. We have in vitros, artificial humans. We have silicates, androids, and they go rogue because somebody put in this computer program about taking a chance, and that messed them all up. And they became, you got the AI wars, the created in vitros, the soldiers, but they weren't that good apparently. There's a lot of prejudice against in vitros. They call them tanks. T.C. McQueen, who is this hard-ass commander, amazing episode where he takes on Chiggy von Richthofen and he takes him out, abandon all hope. But the other beautiful thing about this series, they had a massive conspiracy within this series about the aliens. Every week we get hints of like the Chigs, and certain people in the government know. Now Earth's run by countries are still independent, but the Earth seems to be run by the UN. You've got a world president, and the character's backstory is fascinating. There's so much in this series, from conspiracy to the wars, and the most important thing in this series was the character development. And do you know what they went and did? They went and cancelled it. Now, the series was created by Glenn Morgan and James Wong. I used to work on the X-Files, and it was total genius what they did with this series. Honestly, I get this out. It's like a pleasure just to watch this. I get this out at least once a year to sit through it all. It's one of the things. Every time you watch it, you find something new. Now, the question is, you're going to ask, how could Space Above and Beyond come back? Well, I'd set this 25 years later. I'd set it, I know, is it 2069 when this is all meant to be happening? I'd set it in 2089 or 2092. There's been a piece with the Chigs for the last 20 years. It's a bit dodgy, the whole peace thing. Tank rights on Earth in vitro, there's been a lot going on with them. They've got rights now. There's even a colony world full of tanks. Now, the Silicates AI have rights as well. But there's problems. They've sort of, some of them have returned to Earth. Now, there is prejudice there, but Earth is getting on with what it's getting on. But the peace is very fragile in this situation. Now, the main characters, that obviously, T.C. McQueen is now the Commodore. Vanson she's the squadron leader. Well, no, she's been promoted. Nathan West, he's still in, he's like a captain. Well, I don't know. He's been promoted to a colonel. And every year they're all doing different things. They're not, the Wildcats is a whole new bunch of people. And we'd have one of them, I'd say we'd have Hawks as the head of the Wildcats, 20 odd years. He's like the oldest senior officer. He works with T.C. McQueen, because he was like that father-son relationship. Danfoss probably teaches at the military academy. And then I'd go into the whole politics of Earth, and I still have a conspiracy with the chicks. And that is like the basic set out for this. This is where I would have like that. But this is the clanger or the killer. Now, this peace treaty with the chicks, there was a big battle. And you remember how it finished in the final episode when it all kicked off? We'll get the answers to that. But there was another massive battle, and there was a ceasefire on both sides. Even though the chicks were losing the war, it came to a peace settlement. Now, you're going to ask about are we related to them? That could be explored. I remember it pissed a lot of people off, did that, about how they came from Earth. But maybe that were part of chick deception. You could go down that path, because this is what they're about. They're very good. They were very good at deception, the chicks. So we've had this peace treaty. There's still like no side really trusts each other. But there is a chick ambassador on Earth, and we've got an ambassador. There's communication, but basically both sides do their own thing. Now, over the last 20 odd years, the human race has really expanded out to new worlds. And this is where it goes into, we get the in vitro colony or an AI world. You know, you bring all this in, but something attacks an outlying world of humans. Something comes in and exterminates everybody again, and then it kicks off almost between us and the chicks. And the chicks, apparently, they obviously know of other races out there, and it's one of their old enemies, and they've come back and start attacking the human race, because like I'd open the universe up to other life forms. And this is where it starts expanding in. When they meet this other race that's more even chicks are terrified of, and they need our help. Well, actually, the chicks get attacked by them, and then they take out one of our colony worlds, and we have to form this alliance with the chicks. It's dodgy, because both sides have got elements that want to destroy this alliance. This new force comes in, and they're ruthless, and it all kicks off again. And it's going to come out that, well, certain secret organisation had picked up transmissions of this other race. And I put in the conspiracy, but this other race, they're ancient, and they don't like the human race at all. They don't even like the chicks, because like both sides have expanded out. And they're coming into a part of the galaxy now where there is other life forms. And I'd bring it all in. I'd put aliens into this human race with its complex problems and all that, and the characters. Now the characters have all been promoted, and they're all forced back together with a new squad of the Wildcats. You know, and a lot of technology's advanced on Earth, and we meet other sort of weird things out there. It wouldn't be like Star Trek. This is about human survival and us expanding out and getting our place within the galaxy now. You know, we're like the young race. Do you remember like Babylon 5 and the Earth Alliance, the new young race? We're in the ball game, and the chicks sort of, they knew about other life forms, but they didn't say anything, and this causes problems. But also the trust, there's elements of the chicks and there's elements of the humans where they just want to start another war. Do you know what I mean? Because it wasn't a surrender, it was a ceasefire, but we were winning. And, you know, the Chigs, like the war, like you could go into Chig culture, there's like a warlord class, you know, and there's some of them that, like there's a peace treaty and there's a terrorist attack, but there's this new threat coming in, and we'll do what we did in the original series. We keep them mysterious for quite at least a season or so. But these, I don't know what these aliens are going to be. They're going to be far worse than Chigs. You know, but we get to see the Chig homeworld, we get to see Chig culture, and in the Wildcats you could bring in, there's in vitros in the Wildcats, also there's an AI, you know, because I remember there were an episode about them having rights or something, and a lot of AIs have returned to Earth now because they see it as their homeworld, but there is an AI homeworld as well, and everybody's got to work together. Now these other aliens that are coming, they hate artificial life forms, you know, and then this is where you start building it over 5 seasons, because the human race, with all its complexities of artificial life forms, in vitros or tanks, and its problems and rest of it, is expanded. They've expanded into a part of the galaxy where it's unexplored. Well, a lot of it is still unexplored, but it's the find old worlds. Something were there before, and it's still there now. And it's become aware of us now. They defeated the Chigs centuries ago. There was something between them, but then they just disappeared. Now, they're not like ancient, or they're an old race. It's not going to be like shadows or all like that. But what you do is, they've been around longer than others, and they're malevolent. And beyond them, there's other worlds, and we come into this. Do you know what I mean? And this alliance with the Chigs to stop this new sort of threat. The technology is different to the Chigs as well, and then it'd be interesting that they have to form this alliance where you could have a Chig with the humans. I don't know. They've got this weird sense of honour of the Chigs, and there's a Chig like liaison that works with the Wildcat. You bring this character in, and he's talking, and I don't know that there's a relationship that develops, but both races now are in trouble. But there's still the massive trust issues. The politics in Space Above and Beyond are fascinating. I'd still bring in aerotech, manipulating events in the background, but the characters would be the new Wildcats with Cooper Hawks as its leader, who works under T.C. McQueen as the Admiral, and all. They took a Smalls character. He's now in politics on Earth. He's like a Minister of Defence, and you know, because these people are still around now, so they could be brought back, and they have to bring back the old Wildcats. But this is where I'd go with this, and honestly, it would work. You know, I don't, but this time the universe would be opened up. Space Above and Beyond is one of the best science fiction series ever made, and they went and cancelled it. And for years, I've always wanted to see a sequel, and I cannot understand why they're not looking at this and thinking we could do this. You know what I mean? Now they want to run a story out for season 2, but we never got there. So, do you know what I mean? Again, we were denied something, and they just... I remember I was so obsessed with this. We got it on BBC 2 episodes on a Friday night. Coming from pub, hammered, sit down, and I'd watch 2 hours of it and record them. You know, and then it took bloody years. I mean, we only got the pilot episode out on video in the UK. Then it came out on DVD. I also want to see this series on Blu-ray. But this is how I'd line out Space Above and Beyond. This is how I'd do it. You know, I'd open the universe up. So this is this week's episode of Could It Come Back? Please give this channel a like. Please subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. And Netflix, Amazon, Disney, just bring it back, will you? You know, just finance it, give us what we want with decent writing and bring the characters back. I'll see you on the next episode. Get me the wild cards.